Welcome back to Conversations from the Kitchen, my kitchen, where stories simmer slowly, memories rise like steam, and connection fills the room, one conversation at a time. Today, we're cooking up something a little different, something that blends the warmth of family memories with the creativity of digital worlds. My guest today grew up eating some of the same family meals I did. The Sunday gravy, aka sauce, Nona's cooking, the kind of food that wraps around your heart and stays there. But life took us to different states, so I didn't get to watch him grow up day by day. Instead, I got to cheer him on from afar as he built a world of his own. On YouTube, thousands know him as Alterego, a gamer, creator, and guide through worlds like Minecraft, GTA, and quirky games full of hero musketeers and pixel adventures. But to me, he is my nephew, Andrew, and today he's bringing his world into my kitchen. Andrew, welcome.
Hello, Auntie Lisa. It is warm in this kitchen. It feels good in here.
Thanks so much for joining me. I know you're so busy, but I just want to dive in and ask you some questions. You know, when you think of our family's kitchen, particularly Nona's cooking, the noise, the smells, what comes back to you first?
That is a good question. I would definitely say sitting at the dinner table with Nona when I was growing up, and some of the, parties we had, especially during the holidays, seeing all my cousins, seeing my aunts, seeing everybody. I remember one particular memory when I was really little. I was spending the night at Nona's house, and they made me oatmeal. And my mom would always let me put sugar and honey in my oatmeal. But Nona were not like that. That was like a no-go for them. I think maybe they let me put a little bit of honey, but Nona would not let me put any sugar in my oatmeal, and I couldn't eat it. It was like the nastiest thing ever. And I think I started crying, and we ended up calling my mom, and my mom convinced Nona to let me put sugar in my oatmeal. And I think that was the last time I ever spent the night at their house.
Well, yeah, you like things sweet, and because you're too sweet, Andrew. So that makes sense. Yeah, totally different. Yeah, so you and I grew up in different states, but we share the same roots. How do those family memories show up in your life today, even in the digital worlds you explore?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I would say just kind of in the digital world, like we're able to like FaceTime and, see each other's posts online. Like your Instagram page with your meals. I mean, we're just so much more connected now, it seems like, online. Like, even though we don't, we live in different states and we see each other once every 4 years or whatever it is. It feels like we see each other a lot more just from seeing what we post online and
Right.
It just keeps us connected.
Right. And I've been traveling out there since I was like 15 years old, actually, several times a year. So I was lucky to be able to travel as much as I did. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So can you tell me the story of how gaming became your passion? Was there a moment when you realized this isn't just something I play, this is something I love?
Yeah. Honestly, it was ever since I was little. I think mainly it was probably in middle school. I had a PlayStation, and it was kind of all I wanted to do. Like, I'd be at school all day and I'd just think about video games, and then when I'd get home, I'd just want to play. Luckily, I was disciplined enough to get my work done first, my schoolwork done, and then I would literally get it done as soon as I got home so I could play the rest of the day. And I think I realized I loved it just because it was all I wanted to do. It was almost like an obsession, And a lot of people
Right.
always say, whatever your passion is or whatever you want to do, you need to be obsessed with it. And I think later, now that I'm a little older, I've kind of realized, I was obsessed with it. But, almost in a good way, because it was obsessed because I did love it. And I guess
Right.
that obsession, that love just kind of never left.
That's a great response. That's awesome. And when you love what you do, it just transpires into everything. You can inspire so many people through your passion. So another question I have is that you chose the name Alter Ego. I totally love that. Who is alter ego and what side of you comes alive when you step into that role?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like the inner like kid in me, I guess. I would say is kind of that side. It's like, like I just said, I kind of developed that love when I was really young, when I was in middle school, and it kind of has never left. But now that I'm older, I'm just an adult now, kind of have to be more responsible. People around me aren't playing video games as much. It's not, a huge topic. And so, but I still have that part of me that I love. So I think that alter ego is just kind of that deeper side in me that still has that love. And, when I'm streaming or I'm online, that part, I get to bring it out. I get to talk about what I really want to talk about. And,
Right, right.
you
Because
know,
not everyone likes gaming, but a lot of people do, though. It's surprisingly, there's a lot of adults that game.
yeah,
So that's awesome.
very true.
So in your videos, you help players discover like shortcuts, features, secrets, whether it's like Minecraft, GTA, or some wild pixel adventure. What do you love most about teaching people how to navigate these worlds?
Honestly, it's the comments that say, "Thank you for this video. You just made me so much better." I think it's just making people better at the games that they're playing because video games are, most fun when you're good at them. I mean, anything is sports, cooking, talking, it's fun when you're good at things. And so I think the most rewarding part is seeing those comments where people are telling me that I made them better at that game. And, that definitely drives me to keep making those types of videos.
Awesome. So, I mean, this might kind of intersect with the next question I have for you, but yeah, like basically your community is growing. You have quite the following. Like, what has surprised you the most about the people who follow you?
Probably that they kind of still will stick with me. Not all of them, of course, but I have a couple different platforms. One of them is Twitch, which is where I'll stream video games, and there's a good amount of people who have watched my videos on YouTube, and I'll say, "Hey, I stream on this platform," and then they'll come and watch me on this other platform. And even though I'm not super active on this other platform, when I do stream, which is every like few weeks, not as consistent as I probably should be, these people are still consistently showing up and, wanting to hang out with me and talk to me on stream. So just probably the loyalty, I guess, surprised me the most.
Right, like they're hanging on to you because you're like such a, you're making such an impact in their world. So
Yeah.
that's awesome, Andrew. So like you're a creator, so being a creator is exciting, right? But it also can be heavy. Has there been a moment when gaming or your online community helped you through anything, something difficult?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would probably say this year was a little harder as far as like growth and performance, I guess. And, reading some comments on my older videos, I think helped like push through because this kind of thing is, very easy to kind of put to the side and say, okay, it's not working. It hasn't been
Right.
working in a few months. It's time to do something else. But, seeing those comments and just, the kind of, I guess, unconditional love that a lot of these people show you can help you to push through times like that.
Right, it pulls your heartstrings to keep going.
Yeah.
Well, so, our family has the mix of love, chaos, humor, and passion. Which of these qualities show up in the way you create or the way you talk to your followers?
Yeah, I would say all four of those. It's like a perfect four words to describe like the content. And a lot of people who watch it probably wouldn't recognize it, but I think a family member would see it, just obviously the love for it, the chaos, just, it can get crazy. And some of the chaotic videos are the funniest, there's just crazy things going on. And the humor, of course, definitely get that from both sides of my family.
Right.
And passion is just, deep rooted. So I would say all of those come out, and it's kind of in all forms of content, whether it's a video or a TikTok or a stream. I'll try to throw in a little joke or, a plot
Right.
twist or make a left turn, make something unexpected, just to keep people engaged.
Right. That's awesome. And we love humor, we love to laugh. So that's good. So like, if your YouTube channel were a dish in my kitchen, this is an interesting question.
Mm.
What would it be? Comforting, spicy, bold, surprising? What's your flavor?
I kind of like the word bold.
Okay.
That one is looking at me. Um,
Mm,
yeah, if you know, I wonder what kind of pasta my videos would be.
like a spaghetti, a mustacholi, a penne, like yeah, like what is it? Spicy? Is it
Yeah, I think like a nice like creamy maybe penne or maybe
okay?
rigatoni.
Okay, but an
Yeah.
Alfredo, kind of like a creamy white sauce or something like that.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
gravy. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Um, so like another question for you is what's your go-to gaming snack? Has anything ever like ruined a controller or your computer like keyboard at any
That's a
point in time? Because I know you're like gaming and streaming and like what's your go-to snack? Like anything like that
well,
you
I
make? Because I know you're quite the cook now.
yeah, I try to stay away from snacking. If I do, trail mix
Mm.
um is my kryptonite. Yeah, I love trail mix. If there's no M's in the trail mix, that
Oh.
doesn't count. But as long as there's M's in the trail mix, then yeah, I think that's gonna be my go-to gaming snack.
That's hilarious. I love dark chocolate. You know, I love dark chocolate, and you like M&Ms. You don't like peanuts in them, then you
I
like
do.
just okay,
I do, yes.
okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I just want to have some fun with the next question. So, if you could invite three characters from any games you play to a family dinner, who's coming and what are they eating?
Interesting.
And
Okay,
it
can
might
I?
be above my head because I don't know all the characters in your.
Yes. Okay, first one is definitely Steve, which is the main character in Minecraft. If anybody has ever
Okay.
if anybody has played Minecraft or knows Minecraft, then they'll know Steve.
Okay.
So,
So Steve's
def
coming.
Steve is there for sure. He's mandatory.
Nice.
Who else? How about some fighting games? I've played some
Okay.
fighting games in the past. I'm gonna go I was gonna go Batman, but I think that'd be a little scary.
Okay.
We're gonna go Spider-Man. I think
Spider-Man is coming. Okay.
he'd kind of fit the Romanazzi vibe, I feel like.
Okay. And then like what's his vibe? Like why would he come to dinner? Like what's the deal?
I think he's Spider-Man, I think is just kind of a like charismatic character. He's kind of just
Okay.
some like a guy you kind of want. He's a guy you want to talk to at the party, you know.
Okay.
And then the last one is going to be Trevor Phillips, which
Ooh.
is one of the main characters in the story from GTA. And
Okay.
he's I don't know how you describe him. He's like the crazy, almost homeless. He's like the crazy trailer park guy.
Mm.
Yeah, so he would be just pure entertainment. You know, some things might get broken in the house.
Right.
You know, somebody might get hurt, but you know what? It's all for entertainment purposes.
And then like what so if they came to the family dinner, like what would they be eating? Like what's like
Trevor Phillips, he might eat some like meatloaf, maybe. I could see him eating some meatloaf.
some meatballs maybe? Some
Some
like
maybe some
nice
meatballs.
okay. And
Yeah.
then we got the Spider-Man. What's he eating?
He he's gonna need some protein. He's probably a healthy guy. He's gonna do some maybe chicken and rice. He's probably gonna keep it easy.
He's
He's
not like
staying on his diet.
man, so it's no chicken piccata for him then, but that's not that bad. And then what about Steve at Minecraft? What's
Steve's
he
gonna eat
eating?
anything. He'll eat anything you put in
Okay,
front of him.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that was cool. That was cool. So I know a couple of the characters, not all of them, but no, that was very cool. And I know that your followers will know some of these characters too. So, like, where do you hope to take Alter Ego next? Like, more tutorials, bigger worlds, a larger community? What's the dream?
Yeah, as for now, basically more tutorials. The biggest game I guess that I'm waiting on is gonna be GTA 6. So the one most people play is GTA 5, and there's another one coming out in November of next year. And that's kind of been in my sights for a few years now, and once that comes out, that'll probably be the main game. I probably won't go to any other games after that.
Wow.
So, yes, mark my words, GTA 6 Alter Ego will be very big.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. And I don't know what's going on with GTA 6, but I'm sure your followers will.
Yeah.
But what's the one thing you hope your followers feel when they watch your videos?
Inspired. I would say inspired. I think one of the biggest reasons I started a YouTube channel was because I would watch these other YouTubers and I'm like, man, you know, if they can do it, then I can do it. And it was
Right.
just kind of inspiring seeing just, you know, some some guy in his room, some person in his bedroom, and he plays video games, and he started posting online, and now, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are watching him do what he loves to do. And so I think, since all these other people inspired me, I've kind of always wanted to inspire the younger generation to do the
Right,
same.
right. And you got to start somewhere. I mean, you're not going to have a million followers, but you have quite the following. So that's awesome, Andrew. You're inspiring. Keep going. For the young person listening to you right now, the one with a controller in one hand and self-doubt in the other, what advice would you give them?
I would say if you truly have, a passion for gaming, it's a community and an industry that's growing and it's only getting bigger. And I would say just hit the record button and start posting your favorite clips. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. You probably already have a phone. If you have a controller, that means you already have your gaming system. All you have to do is hit record, press a few more buttons, and then press upload. And, you never know what it might turn into. And
Right.
if it doesn't turn into anything, I always tell people, doesn't turn anything, at least you have those memories posted on a page to look back on later. I mean, if I had clips of me and my friends playing Fortnite from 7 years ago, even if they all had 10 views, it would be so much fun going back and just watching the clips of me and my friends from 7 years ago. I mean, there'd be
Right.
so much funny stuff to look back on. So,
Right. And I mean, again, I know this is a new, probably something you're not faced with, but a lot of young kids are playing that maybe should not be videotaping, or they have to kind of watch what they're recording, and there's some predators out there. So is there any like safeguards that maybe you would recommend for them or their parents? As a parent, I have two older children in their 20s. You're in your 20s as well. So I know that, that's a challenging topic, but like, is there anything that you can kind of say to people? Like, yes, kind of get your stuff out there, but like, is there anything that you can say that would kind of just, inspire them to kind of be smart in the
yeah,
things that they post?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think privacy is, a very important factor when it comes to the internet. And, even me, I have a big following, but I've never shown my face, because I just, I like my privacy. I don't want
Right.
people, knowing who I am. That's the whole thing about alter ego is this is, my different personality, and this is a different person that people know. And,
Right.
Andrew is somebody separate from that. And so I
Exactly.
would just say, keep your personal identity separate from your internet identity, and you don't need to be showing your face if that's not what you want to do to be a big creator, because plenty of people have done it. So
Right.
yeah, and just make sure all of your accounts are private, and just don't post any private information online, and people won't be able to figure out who you are, because everything's pretty private online unless you're posting stuff that allows them to.
Right, right. No, thank you. That's very helpful. Well, Andrew, thank you for bringing your heart into my kitchen today. Even though we grew up in different states, our roots are the same. The food, the memories, the love, and seeing the world you've built. It really makes me so proud of what you've done. To everyone listening, today's conversation reminded me that creativity looks different for each of us. Some of us create it in kitchens, some of us create in digital universes. But at the center of it all is connection, the kind that feeds us, supports us, and helps us find who we are. So as we go through your week, what will you cook? What story will you remember? And what part of yourself, even the unexpected part, will you honor today? Until next time, keep cooking, keep creating, and keep finding connections in every world you step into, even if the ones made of pixels.